hard living this life.
No, it really is. So I just got a text from my wife. She's it's a text to me and her mom. She said, I'm divorcing Jaceel, mom. A blog has accused him of cheating on me. So I'm done. Like, that's what I'm dealing with in real life. Like, in real life, see what it says? Yep, the girl who used to work for him. So this is what I'm really dealing with. And that's I'm going to be as transparent as I could be, because this is what happens when you play like this. You play on people's lives. You play on whatever they may be dealing with, and they have to deal with real circumstances. So this is what I'm dealing with this morning.
Young Joc and Kendra's marriage seemed like a fairy tale, just like what fans of Love and Hip Hop had hoped for. Their grand wedding and fresh start appeared flawless, but behind the scenes, things were not as perfect as they seemed. Now, Joc has had enough, kicked Kendra out, and ended their relationship. So what went wrong? What caused this couple to go from being in love to breaking up? Let's uncover the surprising truth behind their split.
Because as a man, guess what? I got to stand on mine too.
Yes,
Because guess what? Let me tell you something. I didn't go to college. Guess what?
Fine.
I want my kids to go to college. So we can say that right now. I don't want them to go that direction. I want them to go to college. I can say that with you too.
Right.
But don't sit here in front of the world, in front of a medium, and say, oh, I wouldn't want my son or your sons to be like you. Hold on. Nah, you're gonna put some respect on my name. Because at the end of the day, I'm successful. I take care of my kids.
Okay.
Ain't none of my kids out here in dire need of love and support. So we're gonna do that. Okay? Because I don't appreciate that. Because there's some things about you that I could say I wouldn't want my daughters to do.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna do that. I respect you and I love you enough.
I want this magazine to know
no. I
what
respect
it is about
integrity.
Me. You don't want your daughters.
I'm not gonna do that.
Like,
I'm not gonna do that.
Be my guest.
I'm not
gonna be slighted, honey.
I'm not gonna do that. That's where
Young Joc, the Atlanta-based hip-hop star and Love and Hip Hop veteran, had made a name for himself in both music and reality TV. Known for his charm and easygoing personality, Joc was already a father of 8 from previous relationships when he met Kendra Robinson. Kendra, on the other hand, was quite different from Joc, and their contrasts made them both stand out and interesting together. They seemed to embody the image of a power couple when they married in 2021. Despite facing challenges, their relationship became a storyline on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, where fans saw both their highs and lows. From the start, their chemistry was undeniable, but trouble soon followed. One major issue was Joc's complex family dynamic, as he was a father to 8 kids, with 4 different women. Kendra found it difficult to accept his past, and she was unsure about blending her life into his already busy household. They often clashed over the role she would play in his family, and Kendra made it clear she didn't want to be defined by Joc's family or public persona. The situation was further complicated by rumors of Joc's infidelity, which seemed to follow him throughout their relationship. On several occasions, Love and Hip Hop captured Kendra's frustration with Joc's actions and her growing doubts about his commitment. At one point, Joc admitted to old habits and temptations, which only fueled speculation about his loyalty. Kendra stood by him, hoping he would change and that their relationship would survive, but fans could see that trust between them was fragile. Public arguments, tense moments, and tearful confessions became common as cameras rolled. Despite everything, they made it to the altar in 2021, with their wedding seen as a fresh start and a chance to prove doubters wrong. Joc seemed committed to making the marriage work, while Kendra appeared focused on keeping her personal ambitions in check. Together, they tried to blend their worlds and move past the chaos that had followed them. However, cracks soon began to appear. The major issue that ultimately broke their marriage was their disagreement over having children. For Joc, starting a family with Kendra was essential. He saw it as the next step in their relationship. He believed that building a life together meant sharing everything, including parenthood. When Kendra told him she didn't want kids with him, Joc was deeply affected. In an emotional moment, he admitted that her decision hurt him. For Joc, wanting children wasn't just about having another child. It was about strengthening their bond and creating something that symbolized their love and commitment. He saw Kendra's resistance as a rejection of the future he envisioned for them, feeling like she was shutting him out. On the other hand, Kendra had her own reasons for not wanting children, at least not right now. Her career as a lawyer was her priority, and she had spent years building her reputation. Stepping back from her career to focus on motherhood wasn't something she was willing to do. She explained that she could freeze her eggs for the future if she wanted to have a child later. But for now, she wanted to control her own timeline. It wasn't about rejecting motherhood, but about keeping her options open. The emotional fallout from their disagreement ran deeper than either of them expected. Joc interpreted Kendra's decision as her preparing for a life without him. Freezing her eggs instead of committing to having children with him made him feel like she wasn't all in, which felt like a betrayal. To him, this wasn't just about children. It symbolized a lack of trust and a difference in their vision for the future. Kendra, however, felt Joc's insistence on having children was unfair. She wasn't willing to compromise her career or her identity for anyone, not even Joc. Her refusal wasn't a rejection of him, but a pushback against the societal pressure often placed on women to sacrifice their personal goals for family. The disagreement over children became a ticking time bomb, and when Kendra stuck to her decision, Joc felt deeply betrayed.
Well, Jacelle and I have been in this for a real long time, so, and it's a lot of stuff like you guys are seeing this season where, the whole world wasn't privy to, some of the stuff that Jacelle and I was going through, or the times we separated or that we were broke up, even while we were engaged or even while I was still wearing my ring, we had moments where it just was not happening. But,
as the tension in Joc and Kendra's marriage grew, Joc began to pull away. The disagreements about having children and Kendra's firm decision to freeze her eggs for the future hurt him deeply. He felt unappreciated, rejected, and like an afterthought in Kendra's long-term plans. For Joc, marriage was about building a life together. But Kendra's independence and focus on controlling her future clashed with his vision of their union. In his frustration, Joc didn't hold back. He reportedly told Kendra, "If you're freezing eggs for someone else, I'm going to do what I want too." Kendra's refusal to have children wasn't just about timing. It highlighted a deeper divide. Joc began to question whether they were truly aligned in what they wanted out of life. Kendra's independence now felt like a wall he couldn't break through. The arguments that followed were filled with hurt feelings and unspoken resentment. Sources close to the couple reported that their disagreements became more frequent and intense. Joc felt like he had made sacrifices for their relationship, but Kendra wasn't willing to meet him halfway. On the other hand, Kendra felt misunderstood. Her decision to freeze her eggs was about preserving her autonomy, but Joc saw it as a rejection of him and their future together. The breaking point came when Joc realized he couldn't continue in a marriage where his goals and desires were being dismissed. Reports say Joc finally ended things and told Kendra to leave. It was a shocking move for those who had watched the couple fight through so many challenges, but for Joc, it was a necessary step. He refused to accept a future that didn't align with his values and goals. After everything they had been through, Joc was done compromising on building a family, and Kendra's reaction reflected her own resolve. She wasn't willing to change her stance or give up her career ambitions for anyone. The split, while emotional, was inevitable. The love they shared wasn't enough to bridge the gap between their differing visions for the future.
I don't have to get no explanations to no goddamn body. If you understand, you understand.
Nah, what are you talking about?
That's what it is.
Is that you so goddamn big-headed and arrogant? You around here creating babies all over the globe, dropping them off household to household.
All over the globe? What are you talking about?
To not actually be able to tell my mama, tell my brother, you should answer them.
I would talk to whoever.
After the breakup, young Joc has focused on rebuilding his life and moving forward. He's thrown himself back into his music and continues to be a dedicated father to his children. Embracing the single life, Joc has taken time to reflect on the lessons he learned from his marriage to Kendra. He admitted that sometimes love just isn't enough, and sometimes you have to walk away when your futures don't align. For Joc, ending the marriage was painful, but it was the right decision. His journey post-split shows a man who is leaning on what he knows best: his career, his kids, and his own sense of peace. He's determined not to let the heartbreak define him, and is staying focused on building a positive future for himself and his family. On the other hand, Kendra Robinson has committed even more to her legal career. Always driven and ambitious, her post-split journey proves she's stronger than ever. She has continued to excel professionally, showing that her goals and aspirations are still very much intact. Kendra's message to women has been clear. A woman's worth isn't tied to having children or pleasing a man. Her decision to prioritize her own timeline for motherhood reflects a growing sentiment among modern women that they shouldn't have to choose between love and their dreams.
I felt like after we made our vows to move forward, that we won't even bring any of this up.
I didn't bring it up. People bringing it up.
As expected, young Joc and Kendra's split has sparked a major debate on social media, with fans divided on the issue. Some are siding with Joc, believing his desire for a traditional family and his vision of marriage are valid. They argue that wanting children and building a future together is a reasonable expectation in any marriage. One user wrote, "If you don't want kids, why even get married to someone who clearly does?" pointing out that having children isn't the only key to a successful marriage. On the other hand, many are applauding Kendra for standing her ground and prioritizing her career. For these fans, Kendra's decision reflects a modern, independent mindset that challenges traditional expectations of women. One supporter tweeted, "Kendra freezing her eggs is her choice," Women shouldn't be pressured into motherhood if they're not ready. Another commented, she's securing her future. A woman's worth is not tied to being someone's baby mama. There's also a portion of fans who see fault on both sides. This is just sad. They clearly love each other, but their goals don't align. Sometimes love isn't enough, one Instagram comment read. Joc and Kendra's breakup has sparked a debate about loyalty, love, and the importance of shared visions in relationships. Their story brings up real-life lessons many couples can relate to. At its core, this split shows how critical it is for two people to have aligned goals and values when entering a marriage. Relationships aren't just about love. They require compromise, understanding, and a shared vision for the future. Without those things, even the strongest bond can break under pressure. It's also a lesson in self-awareness. Both Joc and Kendra made decisions based on their own needs and priorities. Joc knew he couldn't live in a marriage where his desire for children wasn't being met, and Kendra stood firm in preserving her independence and career goals. Their story reminds us that sometimes walking away is the healthier choice, even when it's painful. The big question remains, is love enough to hold a relationship together? Or do dreams, priorities, and shared visions matter more? Joc and Kendra's split forces us to reflect on what truly makes a marriage work, and what happens when those pieces don't fit. What do you think? Was Joc right to end things, or should they have worked it out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.